Welcome to Finish the Race, a conservative Christian podcast where we'll dive deep into the current events and social issues affecting Americans.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
In times like these, truth, principles, and solutions matter. Through God's Word, we can restore our true American values, faith, family, and country.
However, I consider my life worth nothing to me. My only aim is to finish the race and complete the task the Lord Jesus has given me, the task of testifying to the good news of God's grace.
Now, here's your host, Eric-Thompson.
Hi, welcome to another Finish the Race podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. It is June 22nd, 2022. Hopefully you guys had a good day. Please make sure you head over to the website, finishtherace.com, if you want to check out the political articles or download other podcasts that I'm doing here for the platform. What I want to do each day is try to give you a summary of what took place, and then I go over some of the articles that I wrote. Today, the Supreme Court started out, they released some more of their decisions, but none of the big ones. The ones that deal with overturning Roe, dealing with can the football coach or any other Christian pray privately on a football field if he's employed by a school? And some other I think another gun decision coming out. But the Supreme Court is crucial right now in filling in this support layer. We know that every day there's tens of thousands of illegal aliens from over 150 different nations pouring into our country. We know that the education system is grooming and constantly promoting this idea that children really shouldn't lock in on what their gender is, because they might change. They have the right to change, and so join our LGBTQA2 plus 123 group, and you can be fluid if you want to. You can move around. You can change your pronouns. Biden is all over the map because, see, I believe, after writing a couple more articles about Biden today, well, he's attacking the oil industry. He's talking about, let's do a month or so of no federal gas tax. Oh, like yesterday. Yeah, I need more money for COVID and for viruses because, quote, there is going to be another pandemic, unquote. Not there might be. There's going to be. So Biden is blundering and just all over the map. I'm going to get to a couple contrasting stories today from the the head of the Fed, and Biden's energy secretary. Joe was speaking today, and he actually he tried to give. Well, did you guys want me to let Putin take over all of Europe, or did you want me to stop him? And since we, gas prices, and did you want cheap gas, but Putin running Europe? He was mad trying to make that point to people that are upset at him about inflation and gas prices. So to summarize it, Biden is clueless. Literally, I mean, we say it every day, but he literally is running around. I believe that his administration has been given their directions from Barack Obama and other groups, even some pre-written policies. And Joe literally just has to try to survive each day. That's why Biden they'll put the lid on his schedule, which means at a certain point today, the president's not accessible for the media. Could be noon, could be 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Joe doesn't do a lot of press conferences. He doesn't answer a lot of questions. Last weekend, he took off on Thursday and came back Monday afternoon. Not a bad schedule, huh? So let's see. He'll probably leave Thursday or Friday again this week to go home for another 2 to 3 days. But there's all these calls for Biden to exercise all of this authority, this defense authorization power, all of these things instead of saying oil industry, natural gas. What do you need from me for you to reopen all the spigots? That never comes out of his mouth. I wrote an article about Greta's crying, I'm sure, over in Europe because Germany's forced to start using coal energy again. Why? We'll get to that in a little bit here in a minute. A main concern I have is that as we do the news every day, that people lose sight of the fact that immigration and education are systematically eroding away our country. Or kind of like if someone who could draw like a painting in sand, and as the water would come by, the parts of it would kind of drift away, and then it wouldn't look like it used to. Well, that's every day. That's where the left is winning, because every day they're grooming more children. They have more kids confused. Generation Z, I wrote about it. Over 20% of them now, from 15 to 24, 25, whatever that age group is, over 20% think that they are part LGBTQ. 1-2% baby boomers, 3-4% Gen X, and then 4%, 5% millennials. Bam, over 20% next generation. So what we're going to be working on is solutions, not just the news, as we move forward. All right, let's get started on some actual news stories. The Fairfax School Board in Virginia, the part of the state where the former governor would get a lot of support, where they were pushing critical race theory, queer studies, all these different social justice things, where they could talk about abortion, late-term abortion, even abortion after birth. The school board that turned in the parents that objected to having child porn and other issues in the school, where they turned a letter into the Department of Justice to investigate the parents, that district. Well, now the Fairfax School Board has approved changes to its school code of conduct, its student code of conduct. And they've actually made it to where you can be suspended if you mispronounce somebody. And if you violate it too much, they will then refer you to the police. That's right. So students that, quote, maliciously denamed or maliciously misgendered are now going to be suspended for weeks. And then if they still don't stop doing it, then they will call in the local authorities over misgendering. So a guy all of a sudden wants to be a they. Yes, they do that now. Well, you're a singular person. Yeah, but I'm they whatever. Okay, dude or chick or girl or guy. You misgendered me. They even have a new term here called dead naming. If somebody had a name and then that person died when they transitioned to another gender, if you still call them that name, which is dead because that person died as they became their new personality, a new sexual orientation in the transition, If you misgender or if you keep calling someone by their previous name, then, and if the school board and the school deems that you are harassing them, you could be suspended or arrested. So much for the First Amendment, huh? The Bill of Rights are a trip to me anyway, because when they were written, the anti-federalists are like, well, we need more protections above the Constitution. So they said, okay, the government should not pass any laws preventing free speech, the ability to worship, the ability to bring grievances and redress the government, to own and protect yourself, bear arms in the Second Amendment. So all these amendments are put in place. Okay, good. That'll protect the people. And here we are. Well, if the government's not supposed to be, the Congress shall not pass any laws that prevent the free exercise, free speech, freedom of the press. So if you have free speech rights, then how can people that have gender dysphoria and have mental issues, how can they be put above your constitutional rights? If you misspeak, or if you're looking at a man and you call him a male pronoun, and how could they pass a law, a regulation, or even, I don't know what they want to call it. I guess unless you leave school, I guess that's considered their code of conduct. But this is what happens when you have 8 far-left, radical, socially, mentally ill people in a majority on a school board that are going to mess with children and threatening them with arrest if they don't speak the way that they want them to. That story is out. Joe Biden's administration, if you go on finishrace.com, it says Biden to kill more jobs. He's now targeting the tobacco industry. Yep, in the Green New Deal, they want to stop any type of smoke or emissions or any type of thing that could kill the earth. And because they want everybody on a one-payer medical system where they wouldn't want to pay for cancer or other conditions because they got people kicked off their private insurance and put on this government pool. Biden's now, okay, well, we want to advance a new idea, a new proposed regulation that's an FDA rule that would effectively ban all nicotine in cigarettes. But just like anything else that the Biden administration is doing, they're doing it there's an underlying purpose to everything they do. They don't care if people get cancer. They don't care if people don't want to be on. I can't think of anything that they do care about except compliance and obedience. But that's one of the articles here where you can look at Biden's trying to advance something called his moonshot directive, where he is somebody in his team wrote a document, and if they follow that directive and do what they say, then they will hopefully beat cancer. But it's really all about control. So check that out. Biden to kill more jobs. Now, I think it's over 11,000 plus jobs could be lost because of this new directive from the FDA. Biden yesterday spilled the beans that he's saying, was during a press event. Biden said that when asked, do you have enough money for COVID, for the vaccines and for the research and all that? And Biden's like, well, we got money, but we need more money. Okay, well, how much money do you need, Joe? Because you spent $50 billion in Ukraine. Well, I need more money for COVID because there's going to be another pandemic. Yes, there's going to be another pandemic coming, so we need to prepare for it. That's one of the more popular articles today, so check it out. Biden spills the beans. There's going to be another pandemic. I told you about Greta's crying. Germany had to go turn back on the coal plants because they supported Ukraine against Putin, which the reason why that's a problem is Germany and all of Europe had put all their eggs in one basket, and they basically were getting all of their natural gas from Russia. Well, if you go and you fight against Putin, guess what Putin does? He gets the largest Russian oil and natural gas company to cut your flow to your nation 40%. So all of these climate change activists, far left, green, radical Germans are now just heartbroken because they're having to start pumping that coal, that smoke back up into the atmosphere. President Trump tried to warn them about this, but they didn't listen to him. They laughed at him. So that article is here on Finish the Race. Greta's crying. Germany forced to use coal again. All right, before the next article, I wanted to remind you guys that if you're with AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, or Sprint, do you know you're paying about $900 a year too much? The average family is blowing $900 a year by being with one of the major carriers because they have a lot of overhead, so they have to overcharge. Over a year and a half ago, my wife and I heard about a company called Pure Talk USA in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And the reason why we were looking was I had already been with Sprint, AT&T, and now T-Mobile, and my bills were still out of control and unpredictable. So go to my website, getpuretalk.com if you want to get information, getpuretalk.com. And here's what happens. You can choose the plans that you want to be on, the same plan that you're on now if you want. You don't have to buy any new equipment, no new phones. You don't have to get new phone numbers. You don't have to sign a long-term contract. You simply say, look, I'm going to keep my phone, so send me the SIM cards. Check the box. They're free. They'll ship them to you. And when you do that, make sure at checkout you use my promo code FLS for Liberty's sake. FLS, how to get you 50% off your first month on a bill that's going to be about 50% of what you've been paying. When you're on Pure Talk, after they send you your SIM cards, you're going to stick them in your phones. You turn them on. Guess what? You're going to be on the same 5G network that you were on before you put the SIM card in. Same tower as the major carrier, but for half the cost. And they don't charge you if you go over on your data, which was my main problem with T-Mobile. So think about it. If you look at your bill right now, you could cut it in half, approximately, depending on the plans you go to, and you can switch over to a company that supports the causes that you and I agree with, and you're going to still get all the same number of bars on your phone, same access, same tower, same everything, but saving the average family $900 a year without ever having to pay for over data charges. It's a U.S.-based customer service team in the Atlanta, Georgia area. CEO is a U.S. veteran, and Pure Talk is a top-rated wireless company. And I have all 20 stars I would give them because I've been totally happy with them. Never had a problem. Love their customer service team over there. Again, check them out. GetPureTalk.com. GetPureTalk.com. Put in the promo code FLS to get 50% off your first month. Thanks for doing that. Okay. There was people are really starting to look into DeSantis. Governor Ron DeSantis, who barely won his election, which, by the way, the guy that he beat for the Florida governorship just got indicted on all kinds of charges. I think his name was Gillum. Yeah, they rung him up. He's a very, very corrupt man. But when DeSantis got in, he just basically told the federal government, I am the chief executive officer of Florida, and I'm going to do what I think is best for the citizens of the Sunshine State, and the federal government hates him. But because of that, he's been successful. He is starting to garner a lot of support by conservatives in the Republican Party. Now, he's also getting some free media from anti-Trumpers that are trying to get him to run. So there's a lot of fake news also behind it. But there's an article I wrote here. Trump doesn't know if DeSantis is running. He said, quote, I don't ask him. There's an article coming out that Trump was interviewed by the New Yorker. And they were basically saying, well, what about DeSantis, Trump? He's like, well, I don't ask him. I haven't asked him, you running? So I break down here that there's a poll that came out from the Western Conservative Summit, and there's a new poll just came out in New Hampshire where the conservatives are actually choosing DeSantis over Trump. So this article kind of breaks down Trump believes and knows in his heart that he will win if he runs again. But the article breaks down how the left and the people that don't want Trump, or the people that do like DeSantis, are starting to look at DeSantis more. And Trump's like, I don't know. I'm not really focusing on DeSantis. But as a conservative, I'm just hoping that those two going at each other would inflict a lot of pain, and I don't think it would be good for the party. But there's an article you can see there. Trump doesn't know if DeSantis is running in 24. I don't ask him. I did a quick article here. Declining Detroit. There's actually a story. There was a man that went into a gas station of Valero and tried to shoot a guy holding a baby. So you can look at that real quick. Declining Detroit, man tries to shoot guy holding baby. Here's a story about, I told you, Gen Z, that they are extremely concerned about LGBT rights and abortion rights. This generation that are in high school up to graduating college age, when they wake up, unlike when I did in the 70s and 80s, when they wake up, they're worried, extremely concerned that people with gender dysphoria get their rights, and the girls can kill their babies, their right to do that. I break down how that happened. How did this generation get to that point? Back to DeSantis. Florida is against COVID jabs on 6-month-old babies. He's basically saying, federal government, I can't really block you from offering your latest jab, but we in Florida are not going to support, and we're not going to encourage people to have their 6-month-old babies jabbed with a COVID shot. Yesterday I wrote about that Musk, he unwoked Tesla, got rid of their LGBT and diversity officials. So those are some of the stories over here on Finish the Race. I have the one up from a couple days ago, Insurrection Tuesday. Pro-abortionists stormed the gate outside the Supreme Court. See, they were there. Nobody knew what cases were going to be announced. Again, they're going to announce some more on Thursday and Friday. Probably that'll be the last, 13 that are left. But I'm trying to give you information on articles you can read in 3 minutes so you can be up to speed on what's going on. There's obviously news outside of it. The Senate is going to try to push through their gun legislation that the rhinos have joined on with, the Republicans. So Schumer wants to try to get final passage this weekend. What this would do is it would open Pandora's box and would give an inch, or if not a foot, that the left could take it a mile with. It actually provides money. It would incentivize states to enact red flag laws, which are unconstitutional. Those are undue process laws that basically say if anybody knows somebody that owns a gun and they're nervous that they own the gun, they can actually call in a complaint or a request for an emergency request to have the police bypass all due process rules, regulations, and steps and just show up at the door and say, it's 5 a.m. Give us your guns. Now, these are people sitting at home that most of them hadn't done anything wrong. There was no crime committed. But if these are enacted, which there's already some states that have them, that I wish they would get challenged so the Supreme Court could kick them out, because the Second Amendment says that the Congress shall not pass any laws preventing people to be armed, the right to bear arms. But yeah, we have them. So Schumer wants to jam this through really quick so then they can say, yeah, we went ahead and took some significant steps to make sure that the Uvalde, Texas, I think it's, and the shooting up in Buffalo, we took steps to make sure that these mass shootings will never happen again. Well, the reality is these changes they're about to put in wouldn't have stopped. They wouldn't have stopped what happened, except for the one part that all of us agree with. If this goes through as is, the schools will get funding to secure their buildings. But trying to do extra security checks on an 18 to 21-year-old when the kid in Texas was already saying on social media, I'm going to go kill kids at the school. I don't think you need more regulations and more laws when he's basically saying, I'm going to do it on social media. So now we're going to go try to do background checks, increase background checks on 18 to 21-year-olds that hadn't done anything wrong. But now they're going to be hyper-scrutinized and documented. What the left is doing, the progressives, is they have been systematically pushing their agenda items, and they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And then they push more. And then a generation gets old and another generation gets in positions of authority, and they push, and they keep pushing. And that's why we've gone from in the 1940s, 50s, where they actually had kids at school watching videos warning them about homosexuals molesting them. They had videos in the schools that showed an abortion, a baby getting killed, to all the girls so they didn't want to kill their babies in the womb. Our government used to say, well, you know what? Everybody should work. We're not going to encourage you to be on welfare. We're going to be a nation under God. But the only way we stop this is we have to abolish the Department of Education. We've got to secure the border, start deporting the 40 million people. And we have to get everything local. And then we basically have to say, look, federal government, leave us alone. Our schools, we're going to take care of those. school district, you're not going to be putting all this LGBT grooming, critical race theory in our school books, and we're going to promote liberty in our schools. And we're not going to have anybody coming in because we're going to get rid of asylum, amnesty, and chain migration. So basically, we need to secure the country. We need to stop. We need to take away all of the magnets, all of the reasons why somebody would come across our border. And we would just start deporting everyone that's here and in the meantime, cutting off all financial payments to them in any form. It has to be that simple. Okay, we have the red wave, we have control, we have a Republican president. Okay, go in and rewrite the immigration laws, removing asylum, chain migration, and amnesty. Remove them. They don't exist. They are not part of United States immigration law. Constitution gives the Congress the authority and the responsibility to do that. If you did that, nobody's trying to come in because there would be no way they could stay. They wouldn't be able to, well, hi, I'm Mayor from India because I wrote an article about this on Finish the Race where Indians are lining up at the border. They're lining up. Thousands and thousands and thousands of them in their nice suits, nice clothes, jeans, coats, backpacks. Yeah, we're from India. We're going to go there. We're going to tell them that we're scared, and we're going to get a asylum date 2 years from now, and we're going to go in the country, start working for our uncle's trucking company, because California will let us have a license even though we're not in the country legally. We are a migrant, an immigrant on a wait list, but somehow we're still going to get a driver's license and work. And this is what the left does. All the complaining that people do on the right, or people that love our country, have to understand that, and I'll finish with this. I wrote about this today. Do you know that the Biden administration is actually they're very successful. It's a very successful administration right now. If you're a globalist pushing the agenda of the Great Reset and the Agenda 2030 sustainability goals. If your job, if the reason why you were put up by the Democratic Party was to tear down, burn down our system, then Joe Biden is successful right now. Oh, how could you say that? Gasoline's crazy, inflation's crazy. Obama said that if his policies, this is back when he was a state senator in Illinois. I mean, if we forced the coal and gas industries to have to spend billions and billions of dollars upgrading their facilities so they could actually burn the coal efficiently enough for our criteria, they would actually go bankrupt doing it. And if they could do it, energy costs would have to skyrocket. So the things that we're dealing with in our country is part of the plan. That's why Joe Biden is treason. He's a treasonous man. He should be impeached immediately once the Republicans have the House and if they have enough people in the Senate, a big majority. Get rid of Biden, get rid of Harris. But we're down to, since 2030 is the goal for all of this to get done by all the leftists. We have 2025 when the Republican gets in office, if it's Trump, DeSantis, whoever. I don't want to see whoever the president is. I'm assuming it's going to be Trump. But I don't want to see them for 6 months, except for, going home and going golfing. But when they're in the White House, I want them just signing executive order after executive order, reversing everything that Obama and Biden did. Reverse, 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 reverse. Pull out of all the international agreements, the Paris Accord, the Iranian deal. And if it was up to me, I would tell the United Nations, you got 2 years, 3 years, you're leaving. You guys need to vote on a country you're going to move your building to. I would work with the Department of Defense, and I would do a 90-day joint military exercise on the Mexican border with America. And while we got hundreds of thousands of troops going up and down the border, which means no illegal aliens are coming in because there is no amnesty at this point, no asylum, no chain migration. The CBs from the Army would be building and completing the wall. So now we're 6 months in. Everything's getting reversed. The border's secure. There's no magnet to bring the people into the country, and we just start deporting away. In the meantime, we've abolished the Department of Education and other useless cabinet positions serving the president, and everything would go local. And then basically we would go in and say, look, we're removing LGBT and all of these protections that you guys have inserted into all these anti-discrimination laws, and say, look, nobody is going around beating up homosexuals right now. Well, what do you mean? There could be 3 people. Okay. There's no main issue with people getting beaten up because of who they think they are. It's not a problem nationally. It's not something that requires federal legislation. So that's what Finish the Race is going to be about. I'll keep giving you articles as we get more and more traffic and more of you guys use our sponsors. I'll get more writers to start putting content on there. We'll start doing live call-in. But to me, it's all about liberty. I don't care what people do. As a Christian, I'll talk to you about morality from that point of view. The Bible is very clear on morality. But when it comes to politics, if you're a secular person, you're not a Christian, you and I can at least agree on liberty. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Leave us alone. Government, federal government, shrink down to be non-existent almost. Keep our country safe. Make sure there's no wacky trade going through using the interstate commerce. And besides that, leave us alone. I even want the federal government to give all the federal land to the states that the land is in. The federal government doesn't need to own all this land. Bring everything back local, and things can start to settle back down again to where we can be united as the 50 nifty United States of America, but only in this way that we all are letting each other live under liberty without being told and mandated what to do and say by a tyrannical Marxist government. And that is what I'm shooting for. And if you are too, then please keep reading the articles here on Finish the Race. And make sure, again, that you get over to getpuretalk.com. Save $900 on your cell phone service. Also, head over to MyPillow if you need an awesome pillows, sheets, towels, and you want to support Mike Lindell. I love all the products. I have them. I just use them every day. I have a special link. Head over to mypillow.vip because you're very important people. And that's going to forward over to my page on MyPillow. So mypillow.com/FLS or mypillow.vip. Use the promo code FLS just like you're using at getpuretalk.com to get up to 66% or more off on MyPillow products. MyPillow.vip, promo code FLS. And lastly, and most importantly for some of you, if you have an IRAs, 401k, pension, and you're freaked out about this inflation, about the possibility of the dollar collapsing in the future, about waking up and having your payments out of your retirement going down in half, and you're kind of nervous about another 2008 financial crisis with housing, then do this. Head over to this website. There's a company called Gold Co. They've helped people with retirement programs transfer nearly $1 billion from their physical currency into gold or silver. There's an IRS loophole that illegally allows you to transfer all of it or some of it without any penalties into precious metals that you don't have to worry about waking up and having the value gone tomorrow. What they did is they put together, they're 5-star rated with every group possible, from Better Business Bureau to Google reviews, ratings, everywhere, 5-star, Great company. Go over to getgoldco.com. Getgoldco.com. Order their free 2022 Wealth Protection Kit. It's free. No strings attached. It's what Americans are using to figure out how to protect their retirement savings. Order it, just first name, last name, email, phone number, bam, it's on its way. No cost. Read it over. If you have questions, talk to them. If it makes sense, they will help you transfer some or all of your money into precious metals, so you have a hedge against inflation and you are protected against a collapse of the system. Again, go to getgoldco.com, goldco.com, getgoldco.com. Order the kit, and if it makes sense, do it. If not, at least you have the information and you are more ready for what's coming. So thank you again for listening. My name is Eric Thompson. This has been Finish the Race.
Thank you for listening to Finish the Race. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
My friends and I love it.
It's drastically changed my life.
For more information and updates, please visit finishtherace.com. To get in touch with others in our community, please visit megabook.com. We thank you once again for tuning in. Have a blessed day.